The Friends of Reading Football would like to congratulate the 2009 football team on their induction into the RMHS Athletic Hall of Fame. Answering what athlete or team is the greatest of all time is subjective and nearly impossible to answer with certainty. But any serious conversation about the greatest Reading High football season must forever include 2009. The 2009 Rockets were dominant to a degree arguably never seen before or since, and their likes will perhaps never be seen again. The 09 Rockets were the first team to go 13-0, scored the most points in school history, and boasted a lineup of players that included 4 All-Scholastics and 11 Middlesex League All-Stars. Reading capped off its perfect season with a 26-0 win over undefeated Natick in the Division II Eastern Mass Super Bowl Championship at Gillette Stadium. No one was going to beat them that season, and no one did. No one was even close. More than just incredible on-the-field results, the 2009 season was tinged with something like destiny, drama checkered with loss, but ultimately a story of incredible triumph. It was a season years in the making. In 2007, a handful of sophomores started on a team that took its lumps and finished 4-7. But those sophomores would be back. In 2008, Reading finished 11-1, rolling undefeated through the regular season before suffering a heartbreaking 2012 loss to Walpole in the first round of the Division II playoffs. Everyone knew that Reading would be the team to beat in 2009. The Rockets returned most of their key starters, including their entire backfield, quarterback Stan Andre and tailbacks Tino Perina and Ryan Pollock. Those three, along with offensive lineman James Collins, were named team captains. Reading's offensive line of Jeff Kovitz, Andrew Edson, Mike Lopez, Dan Bork, and Collins, along with Matt Connery, boasted 4 first-team All-Middlesex Leaguers. With Perina and Pollock's speed and elusiveness, and the power of the 6'1", 230-pound Andre, no team was able to stop the Rockets' running game. Reading also had outstanding defensive talent, led by linebackers Zach Bates, Stan Andre, and Ross DiMattei, defensive tackle Anthony Federa, and ends Andrew Edson and Jeff Kovitz, and defensive backs Larry Gilligan, Brian Bork, Mark D'Agostino, Pollock, and Perina. Their underrated receiving corps included Nick Scally, Sean Gilday, and Patrick Mahoney, with Brian Kelly at tight end. The coaching staff included head coach John Fiore, defensive coordinator David Blanchard, offensive coordinator Dwayne Sigsbury, and assistants Rob DiLoretto, Adam Briggs, and Eric Hiltz. Before the season began, tragedy struck. Beloved assistant coach Mike Boyd, just 29 years old, passed away after a battle with lung cancer. The Rockets dedicated the season to Boyd, wearing his number 12 game jersey stickers on their helmets and standing on the 12-yard line for the national anthem before every game. On the field, Reading left no doubt. Reading's first 6 games tell the story of that dominance. 35-0 at Cambridge Ringe and Latin, 35-0 at home versus Masconomet, 34-7 at Winchester, 34-7 at Melrose, 48-7 at home versus Wakefield, 42-14 at home versus Malden Catholic. How one-sided were these wins? Cape Ann League champion Masconomet would go on to play in the Division IIA Super Bowl. While Winchester finished second in the Middlesex League, Reading crushed both teams. The Rockets outscored Masco 28-0 at halftime and were up 34-0 on Winchester at the half. It seemed nothing or no one would stop the Rockets, except ill luck. In a 42-7 win over Belmont in Week 7, Perina suffered a torn ACL, essentially ending his season. He was the best player in Eastern Massachusetts. In just 6.5 games, Perina had scored 25 touchdowns and accounted for nearly 1,000 yards rushing and receiving. With Perina out, the ball-carrying duties fell to Pollock and Andre. In Week 8, Pollock showed he was up to the task and then some. In a 48-27 win over Burlington, he ran for a school record 360 yards on 21 carries with 4 touchdowns. Andre didn't have to throw the ball most of the time, but was an accurate passer who threw for more than 900 yards and 7 touchdowns. He also rushed for 1,078 yards and 9 TDs. Pollock finished the season with 1,504 yards rushing and 21 touchdowns, and his 169 points scored set a new single-season record. Perina's 150 points in just 6.5 games was good for 4th all-time. Reading closed out the year with wins over Woburn, Lexington, and Stoneham, with the playoffs looming. Points piled up and up. When the dust settled, Reading finished with 441 points scored versus 101 against, a single-season scoring record that still stands. Andre, Pollock, Perina, Collins, Bork, Lopez, Edson, Kovitz, DiMattei, Bates, and D'Agostino were named Middlesex League All-Stars. Collins and Pollock were named Boston Globe All-Scholastics, while Andre, Pollock, and Perina were named Boston Herald All-Scholastics and joint Daily Times Chronicle Offensive Players of the Year. Fiore was named the DTC Coach of the Year. The Rockets opened the playoffs hosting defending Division 1A Super Bowl champion Dracut, an explosive team averaging 34 points per game. Dracut grabbed an early 6-0 lead in the first quarter, but Reading roared back to win, 20-6. Andre rushed for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns on 26 bruising carries, and threw for a 3rd score. Reading advanced to the Division II Super Bowl to take on undefeated Natick at Gillette Stadium. If Andre was the workhorse versus Dracut, in the Super Bowl, it was Pollock's time to shine. He rushed for 203 yards on 21 carries with 2 touchdowns. Andre added 73 yards on 18 tough carries with a touchdown. Reading's powerful offensive line, coupled with the outside-inside combination of Pollock and Andre, was too much for Natick to contain, and Reading's defense was relentless and opportunistic. The Rockets forced 5 turnovers in the game, including 4 on Yukon-bound Natick quarterback Scott McCummings. Linebacker Ross DiMattei sacked McCummings twice and recovered a fumble, and strong safety Sean Gilday returned an interception for a 41-yard touchdown to help seal the 26-0 shutout. Offense wins games, defense wins championships, and that's always been our philosophy around here, said Fiore. It was a tremendous performance today in the snow at Gillette Stadium. It's just awesome. This is what it's all about. After the Super Bowl, Mike Boyd's number 12 game jersey was placed on display at Patriot Place on the Wall of Champions. To honor a championship season for the ages, the RMHS Athletic Hall of Fame welcomes the 2009 Reading Memorial High School football team.